Please subscribe, like, share and comment. Thank you for watching. Welcome Chelsea fan, this is the time of happiness, this season will be great. Let us look at the new signing and what they can bring to Chelsea. What could Timo Werner bring to your Chelsea football team? After all, the German striker was one of the most sought-after players in Europe last season, with Liverpool and Inter Milan said to be looking at him closely. Indeed, many fans and experts alike feel Chelsea pulled off a mighty coup by snapping him up from RB Leipzig, who finished third in the Bundesliga last season thanks largely to Werner's 28 goals in the league. In total, he notched 34 goals across all competitions and also laid on an impressive 10 assists. Can he do what he does last season? For me, I know he can, but please let me know your view in the comment. While Ziyech will likely be the center of Chelsea's creativity in the upcoming campaign, Werner will be their main attacking outlet. The magician who can bring the house down. How Hakim Ziyech will fit in at Chelsea. Most shots on target, most chances created, most big chances created, most goals outside the box, most penalties won, most through balls, most assists. For Ajax in the Eredivisie, Hakim Ziyech was directly involved in 734 shots, one every 9.6 minutes on average. Here are some maps of just open play shots and chances created since 2018-19. But ultimately it's his creativity that will bring him to the fore at Chelsea. No player will have the level of inventiveness that he has, and you can see what Lampard and Chelsea are trying to do. Pairing Ziyech and Mount with a host of players with pace and movement makes perfect sense. It can help make Chelsea more unpredictable and more difficult to deal with. Where he will play will be a lot more interesting to watch. Lampard has toyed with a variety of formations during his time at Chelsea, but you would expect him to go back to a 4-3-3, having used 3 at the back to try and find some defensive solidity. If that is the case, then you would think that Ziyech would line up on the right, the same position he played for Ajax. If you assume that Pulisic and Werner fill the other 2 slots, then it's harsh on Mount and Abraham. Mount could always drop deeper to play alongside N'Golo Kanté and Mateo Kovacic. In fact, don't be surprised to see Ziyech fill that third central midfield role either. Bringing in someone like Ziyech isn't as flash as Werner or Havertz, but he is the metronome that can make those around him tick. That phrase can be applied to Jorginho, Kovacic and Billy Gilmour, but they all play a slightly different role. Chelsea need that creator in the final third when teams are frustrating them. That's where Ziyech comes in. If Chelsea do take the step forward, you can be sure Ziyech's performances will have a big say in that. What can Thiago Silva bring to the Blues? A tactical view. Experience and a track record for winning trophies are some of the answers to the question above, but for a more detailed look at our freshly signed central defender's play, and how he might influence his new team. Most Chelsea fans will know Thiago Silva well from not only his appearances for PSG, where he led his side all the way to this season's Champions League final, but also from all the recent previous meetings we have had with the French giants in London and in Paris. He has played against us 6 times and annoyingly he only lost 1 game, not a bad record. What is he like as a player though, and what does he bring to Chelsea? Well, how long have you got? In brief, he is an intelligent defender, he has always had pace, he reads the game well, is competitive and is a leader, possibly even more by example than by what he says on field. He is an organizer and rarely seems to get carried away in stressful situations, not only controlling himself but also others around him. His partnership with David Luiz, for example, was exceptional for PSG and for Brazil. That is complete control from a defender, and this sort of play is very much a huge part of his game. What about when he is up against some serious pressure, does he perform as well? In the Champions League final this season, Bayern Munich put huge amounts of pressure on the ball high up the field and had plenty of turnovers because of that closing down, but not against Thiago Silva. Under pressure he played and passed from the back like it was a training game. Thiago Silva's successful pass map in the Champions League final. He has been the second top in terms of number of passes at PSG for the past 2 seasons and had an accuracy rate hovering around 90%, so the lad can play a bit. There is another statistic that is quite phenomenal, and it involves his fouls committed in the Champions League. Because he is such a good defender, he tries not to get himself into situations where he has to make desperate lunges. He reads danger brilliantly, but in these days of referees whistling every time a gust of wind passes some players, surely he must have given away plenty of free kicks. Well, not exactly. In 9 high-pressure games in the Champions League, Opta have him giving away the grand total of 4 fouls. That is extraordinary for any player, but a centre-back at that level? Let us be upfront about this, Thiago is certainly not going to qualify as one of Chelsea's many bright young things. Soon to be 36 years of age, he is not going to be with us long-term, and some will be asking about whether or not he can still do it at this level. The line about 9 games in the Champions League should give a clue as to the standard he has maintained up until now. Only Kimpembe and Burnett played more games, 10, in the Champions League this season for PSG. There is not even the slightest question over his quality, but maybe his appearances record in the last 2 seasons might underline why Frank Lampard and the club felt it is still the right call. Last season he played 35 games and the one before that 39. If he plays anything like that number for Chelsea in important matches in this campaign, it will be a great return for us and for those playing around him. It is hard to imagine any of our other centre-backs not improving while playing beside one of the great defenders of his era. We were controlling large parts of the play in most games last season. That should be even more pronounced every time Thiago Silva pulls on a Chelsea shirt. What can Ben Chilwell bring to the Blues? A tactical view. There is plenty excitement about the capturing of the England left-back this week, but when the season is underway, what are the technical aspects to Ben Chilwell's play Blues fans can look forward to? When you are buying a player at the top level, there is no such thing as a dead cert regarding his success in your team. The acquisition of Ben Chilwell is, however, just about as close as you get to being a stick-on or a sure thing. Just about every box is ticked. He has played at the top level in the Premier League for enough years to be considered not only established, but one of the best around. The 11 England caps underline that fact and add on top that he is still only 23 years old, with his best years clearly ahead of him. It all fits very nicely. Ben will have the comfort of walking into a dressing room with plenty of lads his own age, many of whom he will know well from the England squad, so I expect him to fit in comfortably from day one. This isn't someone who has to learn the ropes in the Premier League and grow into it. This is a player you could throw the jersey across the dressing room to right away and just say, get on with it, you know what to do. Although he has played as the left centre back of a 3, he clearly is a classic out-and-out left fullback, in a standard back 4 most of the time. The wing back is certainly a position that would suit his strengths perfectly well. So, we have a young talented hungry player with versatility. He clearly fits the Frank Lampard squad model to a T. What makes Ben stand out from the rest of the others around, however, and what has tempted the club into making such a substantial investment? Well, last season he started adding goals to his repertoire, including one against the Blues, with his right foot. He is a rampaging, overlapping fullback to be sure, but also one who likes to defend. It sounds odd, but there are quite a few left backs and right backs out there just now at the top level, who actually aren't very good at defending, be that in a positional sense or just plain old stopping a winger getting past them. He is a player who is very comfortable with the ball at his feet, and although again this should be a given, there are a few hammer-thrower defenders who wouldn't be as comfortable joining in with Chelsea's slick, quick passing style. When he does get involved with the play in the opposition half, then arguably his biggest strength comes into play, his delivery from that left-hand side. Sadly, I can't resist the cliché here, but he does have a sweet left foot, which will create plenty of opportunities for our strikers and anyone else willing to get in the box when he is on the ball. He put in 90 crosses for Leicester in the Premier League last season, and he could increase those numbers for us. Ben Chilwell put in 9 crosses during Leicester's 9-0 beating of Southampton. There is a long line of fabulous English international natural left-backs who have served this club through the years, with the likes of Ashley Cole, Graham Lasso and my other old friend, Tony Dorigo immediately springing to mind. They have match intelligence and a willingness to bust a gut to help their playing partners out by making perfectly timed, lung-bursting, overlapping runs. I had understandings with a few full-backs throughout my career, certainly Stevie Clarke and I while we were at Chelsea knew how to carve open defences between us with intelligent passing and an understanding of each other's movement and abilities. Not every fullback-winger partnership can however work at that level, it is an understanding that simply either is or isn't there. At Chelsea will Ben have an intelligent, skillful, pacey winger to work with who has a superb football brain. One who has vision, can see a pass and crucially knows when to vacate the space for his mate hammering down the line on that left-hand side? A player who on top of that is selfless and keen to build a partnership out there with 1-2s, dummies and the ability to draw defenders to make space? I may well have given something close to a perfect, if slightly long, description of Christian Pulisic just there. That could be one extraordinary partnership if they click. Kai Havertz, after completed his move to Chelsea, let's see what he will bring to Chelsea. Chelsea, having already signed Hakim Ziyech and Timo Werner, it would leave Lampard with one of the most fearsome attacks in the Premier League. The young German can combine all types of passes. No matter if his team needs through balls, long balls to switch sides or quick one-touch passes in tight spaces. Kai Havertz offers all those passes. The quickness with which he includes the new information in his decision-making is simply impressive. It seems that Kai Havertz always observes the structure of the opponent. He knows exactly where he can find some space. He excels at finding space in the channels, in between the lines, or out wide. The versatile midfielder. He generally plays the central attacking midfielder position, but he possesses the ability of good off-ball movement and extraordinary behavior under pressure. He has also played the No. 8 and number 6 position because he is a creator. The passing ability as mentioned before has allowed him to play those positions and he can create more goal-scoring opportunities. Havertz is often able to find a teammate further forward to distribute the ball from deep midfield. Once he finds space, his ability to execute chipped passes through balls and low passes helps him well in building up the attack. Wherever he plays, he tends to drop back deep in the midfield and combines well with the centre-backs in order to keep the ball moving. Alternatively, his movement allows him to arrive in prime goal-scoring positions where his finishing ability enables him to dispatch chances. He is a significant goal threat for the opposition. It's no shock that the youngster is already in comparison with his idol Mesut Ozil. Further comparisons are between Havertz and former Bayer Leverkusen players like Michael Ballack, Toni Kroos and Arturo Vidal. Fancy stuff. Kai Havertz not only plays the simple flat-through balls during counter-attacks. His good observation of the game allows him to see the open space and be aware of the movement of the defenders. The traits of fancy heel kicks and flicks helps him pass the ball forward. These are very subtle and quick passes, restricting the opponent to get hold of the ball. With such a well-developed repertoire at a young age, it's no surprise that Havertz is attracting attention from a number of world-class teams. Chelsea potential lineup with Kai Havertz. With the signings of Timo Werner and Hakim Ziyech and possible signing of Kai Havertz, the Chelsea lineup looks well built. Should Havertz be in the starting lineup, he could take the place of Ross Barkley. His attributes of goal scoring and creativity would be welcomed with open arms by Chelsea. Having Havertz and Mount behind Christian Pulisic, Werner and Ziyech could prove to be one of the league's most deadliest offences. Pulisic and Ziyech can play on the wings and drop into the midfield to create. Timo Werner and Kai Havertz are two Germans in 1 year now to transfer to the Premier League. Think Chelsea made good deals. It seems it's the biggest hint dropped regarding the transfer situation, and Havertz is most likely to join the Blues. Chelsea could close the deal of Kai Havertz. With this lineup, Chelsea would be a team to look out for next season. With the mastermind of Lampard, the Blues could surely be the contenders of the league. Let's see what will happen. Chelsea will win the Premier League. Please check out other channel, Voce di Roma. Thank you for watching.